Hello everyone!
We're the Digital Asset Sisters. The heart of our business is we consult people on how to invest in digital assets.
And just like how money isn't evil, technology isn't evil.
Yeah.
Innovation isn't evil.
We empower you to own them, to take control of your assets.
People that had Bitcoin on the exchange are still trying to get their money back.
I'm gonna put this money in a place where I know it's gonna multiply.
Really, it's like your systems. If they're spot on and you're like running things like this, then your marketing will be efficient.
Being willing to fail, but don't quit.
So just be real with yourself, be okay to be hard with yourself, and then be easy with yourself and have some fun with it.
Hello everyone, Giuseppe Quarata today with a Like Marketing. We are at the second episode with guests, and today I'm going to introduce two special people, and we'll start with Kinley. Please, Kaelin, introduce yourself.
I'm Kinley, and I'm one of the Digital Asset Sisters here. And we got started within our business about 2 years ago is when we started up our business.
Awesome.
So-
And then obviously the sister,
Yes.
Kaelin.
I'm Kaelin, and I'm the other digital asset sister. And like she said, we got started 2 years ago with our business, but we really started investing 4 years ago together. So we really embarked on this journey together 4 years ago.
That's amazing. Okay, now the first question that I think everyone probably had is, how is running a business like a sister with a sister? Like a family because
That's a
we
great
know about
question.
marriage. Like, I mean, people knows that my business is me with my wife, and we have something going on. But how it is with between sisters?
Yeah.
Go ahead and answer that one.
That's a great question. We always tell people that we think we're ready for marriage. No, just kidding. But it really is the best consulting for that and just within business because not a lot of people know this, but we're completely different. Like just different personality-wise, different strengths, different weaknesses. And so we've really had to learn each other's strengths and weaknesses and be okay with them. And then also balance each other out and know when I need to step into her realm of the more structure and organization and leave some of my vision behind, and when she needs to step into my realm and leave some of her structure behind and just say, let's dream. And so we've really, it's been a balance, and at first there was a lot of tension there, but I think we get better each and every day as we...
I would say our first summer that we actually did business together, when we were doing that, we got into some very heated arguments. So it's like, are we going to follow through with continuing to do business together, or are we going to, part ways and say our friendship is more important than business? But honestly, we're like, we've stuck it out this far, and we're like, wow, if we can handle each other, we can handle anybody that comes in our way.
Yeah. And it's a very interesting dynamic too, because I mean, we've heard this with like Layla and Alex and stuff, and you guys too, but it's like there's business Kinley, there's sister Kinley, and then there's friend Kinley. So it's like we're best friends, we're sisters, and we do business together. That's like 3 different realms, and the only thing we don't do is we don't live together.
Which is honestly probably a good thing. We were like, when we move out, we're going to move out together. And that's where our trajectory was. But then now with having a business, doing everything else together, we're like, let's actually just keep it this way of not living together, so we have a little bit of boundaries.
And like that word, I like it. And a question would be that if you have to tell someone else that want to start a business with a sister, brother, what are some boundaries that you think they should put to start together from the beginning and maybe not get in a fight on the first month? I mean, probably there's fight anyway.
I would just say, first off, to understand the other person, because I think the biggest thing is I didn't actually understand how opposite Kaelin was from me. I was like, oh, she needs to be doing things the way I do them, and this and this and this. But the more I actually got to know Kaelin, like business Kaelin, I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. And I can have some grace for her in these areas that she's not like me in, which is actually perfect because we balance each other.
Yeah.
So I would just say really get to know who that other person is, even personality tests, something like that.
Yeah, we've done Myers-Briggs, we've done core value index, we've done all of it, and it's really helped us. And we're complete opposites actually on each one of them, which is funny.
Yeah.
But I would say another thing is understanding when you're doing business and when you're not. And they still always get intertwined. And sometimes when I'm like, I need sister Kinley, or I need friend Kinley, or we're on a walk, or we're having coffee and we talk about business, it happens. And sometimes we want to, and whatnot. But I do think there's good boundaries set there when you're like, okay, we're going to be working from this time to this time, or Monday is our business day. But on Sunday when we're going to church together, let's talk about business at this first half because we have some things to talk about. But after that, let's just go get coffee and talk about what the Lord's doing in our life and what's going on in your heart. And so we need both because we love each other as sisters and best friends, and we need that because we really are best friends. And so I think sometimes that can be something that can be shoved down, like that sister and that best friend time, because we're like, the business is more important. But sometimes we just have to sacrifice that and say, no, like we're gonna put that on hold for a second. So
that's awesome. And I totally agree that we went together with me and my wife. It was exactly the same things. We're speaking about boundaries and how there's a time to be partner in business, there's time to be couple married, and there's a time to be now we have a baby and time to be parents.
Right.
And the same things as you were saying, there's a time for you to speak about business, there's time for you to be sister, and the time to be best friends and sharing things.
Yeah.
And I think it's totally important, and I like that you kind of like break down how to divide the time and which type of boundaries put, because that's we want to help people to really understand, because it's easy to say, everyone tells you like, oh, you need boundaries,
Right.
but what are like real boundaries, that example of boundaries that we can use for our life, that is gonna help us in if we are starting something in the family. But I also think that's not only for families business, but in general for any business. You have to get some boundaries, you have to create boundaries.
Exactly. And I think it's really crucial too up front to just recognize, and this is something we did actually really well from the very beginning, but we said we're going into business together, but our relationship tops everything. So if the business is gonna split us up, like we're gonna give up the business. If you don't have that kind of relationship with your brother or your sister or your friend, you might want to rethink that, because business can get very heated, and when you put a lot of work and effort into it, you can ultimately really love something and love what you're creating, and that can become bigger than the other person if you let it. So just having that foundation. Yeah,
and I think just to kind of bounce off of that, I feel like for me, and we've talked about this, and this is just the difference between our personalities, which I think kind of similar to you. But I'm very much so like, I can just push through anything. I can, I'm like, boundaries, I need to be able to put those boundaries in place, because I just want to be able to say yes to everything and everyone, whether they're contacting me at 9:00 at night. Sometimes I'm like, oh, I need to respond, and realizing, like, I'm slowly realizing, okay, no, this is a boundary, and just putting those there. And Kaelin has really helped me with that. And so in us talking and you saying like, Sydney put on the do not disturb on my phone, I'm like, I need to.
There was one day where we came back and Kinley was like, I need to do this, 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 and this. And I was like, you need to take a break. I was like, that's what you need to do. And I said, I'm going to go do this stuff, and you're not going to touch your computer one more time today. And it was probably the hardest thing for her. But I said, you're going to go get yourself some boba and go spend some time with the Lord. And so she did it.
And it definitely helped. So
yeah.
That's good. It's funny because, we were, for the people who know, we were talking before actually about kind of boundaries, how many times the best way to create boundaries is to give your phone or like to have the other person build the boundary for you, because when it's yourself, you are not really gonna stick with boundaries or create the right boundaries, because you won't always trying to please anyone,
Right.
everyone. And then like just give the phone or give someone else the, I would say, like the control for your boundaries. That's person that loves you. Obviously, don't give your boundaries to anyone. Don't find a person on the street and be like, "Hey, please set up my boundaries."
You're a customer.
Yeah.
Yeah, every time, 24/7.
Exactly.
Don't
like,
give your customer your boundaries. That's not
exactly, not a good idea. That have people that love you and understand what you need to be done. That they care about your health. Set up the boundaries for you, and that's what I was saying I did with my wife. My wife, actually, I didn't do. My wife took my phone and set up boundaries. Do not disturb when my phone at 6 p.m. I'm not supposed to receive a notification or to look at notification. I'm supposed to enjoy the time with my wife, my family. Same for you, each one of you. And it's the time for you to go back home, to enjoy your life. You're young, maybe going out with someone, but don't just like think all about business all the time. And there is actually a book that I think it's called Top Performance, that book. And he was speaking actually about how overworking is actually underperforming.
Yeah.
Every time we think that just because we're putting more hours in, we think that we are performing 100%, but in reality, because we are tired and our mind is tired, our performance goes down 60%, 50%, and we don't see real perform. We put in so many hours, we spend so many hours that we don't really get the results that we could get by taking a break.
Yeah. Or setting those boundaries up and saying like, I'm going to get this done in this amount of time, instead of, because I think sometimes as entrepreneurs we want to work all day. Like we're like, not necessarily that we want to just work all day, but we're like, oh, I can just put everything into it. But if we actually set some boundaries, then it's a lot more healthy. We're a lot more revived, and we can get a lot more done in a short period of time.
I don't know. I was listening to something and it was talking about the ROI on your time, and it was just really interesting to see like, okay, what is my ROI for this certain task for my business, and then once that has maxed out, you need to move on to something else, because then you're not getting the return that you really want to see within it.
And also understanding what does revive you, you know, like what. I'm completely different than Kinley. I mean, like I like to go on runs and I like to go out with people, and then a lot of times I like to just take some time for myself, and I'm like, I need time for myself. And Kinley's a lot different in her restoration time, but it's good to have that and know what you need, or else you're gonna keep pushing and then you're gonna ask each other, how do we get here? Why are we wanting to quit?
Okay, staying on that topic, what is your way to find rest? I mean, it's like, no, because even if you think in the Bible and everything, God speak about you have to work in a place of rest. And it's kind of difficult for a lot of people to understand, because they're like, wait, I'm working, but I'm resting. And there is that balance. There is a way to kind of like how you set up your back, your room, how you set the place where you work, when you work, how you set up the times of your work, helps you to stay on that spiritual rest and that feeling of rest even while I'm working. Where a lot of times we find ourselves overwork, overtime and everything, or like be in a bad environment where we are stressed all the time. We are working with stress out. Then what would say it's for you a way to kind of like get away from that feeling of I'm working under stress, but actually I'm working, resting in the rest of God, like staying on rest.
Yeah. Do you want to go first?
Well, I'm just thinking here, because I think we were kind of talking earlier this year. I asked her, what do you think is the one thing I've really grown in? And I think it was me being anxious a lot, of like stressed out. I need to get this done and this done. And, you know, just keep pushing through without really considering my own health and my own well-being, honestly. And I think that that's one of the things that I've really actually grown in, and not being anxious. And a lot of that, one of the things we wrote down was order over perfection. And like it, honestly, I've been such a perfectionist that I'm like, I have to get this done, but realizing, okay, if I'm at least getting the order, like I'm having things in order, my life is in order, my health is in order. And so I think for me, some of those things is spending my time in the morning and not allowing distractions to come up or my email be the first thing that I look at. And that's hard to do sometimes, but when I do it, that's actually the rest for me of like, okay, I'm going to spend this time in the morning. Going to the gym is something for me that I'm like, okay, I want this to be in my life. It hasn't been a priority recently, but it is a way that I'll rest and relax. But then also for me, having somebody close, like I want to be with my close people. And that's more what I find rest. I don't find rest in going out and being with people I don't know. I'm like, but that's a challenge because Kaelin is one of my closest people. But if I'm always working with her, we're trying to be sister, it's like she needs some time away from me. And so I have to have my other people that are close to me that I can be like, I can relax in your presence.
Yeah. And it's cool to see our differences in these things, but also similarities. But for me, it's like I have an interesting dynamic with this rest thing because it's like a lot of the times I just take time by myself. Like I really do like resting in growth. Like for me, it's like, okay, now instead of the business growing, it's time for me to personally grow. And like it's time for me to reflect. And so it's like listening to podcasts or reading books. And that's one of my ways to kind of like isolate myself, go on a walk, really get into some more self-growth and kind of like get grounded in that again and be like, okay, this is where I'm at. This is who I am. This is where I'm going. And that's really some of my rest. But another one of the things that I do for rest is really just, I love being outside. So if I'm in the sun, if I'm outside, and then if I'm with people, that's amazing because that just gets my like fun time out, my rest time out. I get to be out in the sun. I get to be with people. I get to be doing adventurous stuff. And I really have that other side to me as well, not just all business, work. And so that really actually, we kind of talk about this because she has a tendency to like, she needs to get stuff done and then she can rest, where I almost need to have my rest, or I need to have like my time in the sun or my time with people and my building up in myself, and then I can get stuff done and I'm like super productive that way. So it's an interesting thing because I think at first she was like, no, we just need to get this done and then you can, but then this
is what I'm talking about. We need to know each other.
Right. And then she really realized, oh my gosh, you work so much better when you like are yourself and you've had rest. So it's been cool to understand those different ways of doing that.
What would you say for you?
For me?
You and Sydney, both of you.
Well, like, I think myself, I'm a mixed between extrovert and introvert. I become even more. One way that for sure I love and I need I like spend time in the business with my wife, but like there is a time on Sunday and my wife knows that I need 3-4 hours where I need to watch anime. It's like anime myself, and anime is my rest time.
It's your like, video games.
Exactly. It's like video games for people. I mean, in the past it was video game. Like I used to play a lot, watch video game, play video game, watching anime when I was high school, first year of university. But then you start to have less time for video games, then the only things remained was anime, because anime, there are 20 minutes episode. It's most of the time is my lunch break too. Like normally my lunch break is like, I can watch like a 20 minutes not episode of anime. For people that open my laptop who will see that I'm probably follow about 10 anime. Different anime like this. I can have one episode for each day of the week at least to watch.
This is something we've been working with you for a while, and I've never heard this.
Yes, anime is probably like the way. I really need to. It's myself. It's myself with something I like. I think also comes to anime because a lot of, in my case, before I learn about God and before I anime were the things that motivated me, because a lot of time there are a lot of anime where the main character is normally like a loser, but is over motivated. He starts to do like crazy training where he becomes like the strongest of everyone. Like he surpass anyone. And then for me, it helped when during the dark time to be like, okay, if I motivate myself and I keep doing the best and working out, and I'm gonna get at this. I'm gonna be like them. Like I'm gonna be overpowered. And that was kind of and then when I got to read the Bible and everything, and I found so many overlapping between animes and the Bible, of how God can like empower you, give like motivation, the peace, and also how God says like you going through tribulation, but even through that I'm giving you power to overcome them and to be and I always speak about overflowing. It's never about enough, but it's always more than enough. And that was like, for me, was exciting. I think and that's where we can go. Another question actually is great, because I think everyone connect to God in a different way. And myself, I connect to God through power. That's also the reason why I like electricity and everything, because for who doesn't know my story, when I was 13, I got electrocuted by a side pour. And after that, I was like, whoa, this is strong. I want to know what is about. I want to know what is about.
Sounds like him. He's not scared of it. He's like, okay, let's study this.
Exactly. My mom was like, whoa, okay, let's study this. And then pretty much I started to study since I was 13, or I spent my time until 24 just studying about electronic. First high school, I went to a technical high school for studying electronic. Then I went to university, got my master, worked in nuclear plants. Then when God came, I was like, the first things I connect with God was power. That's why I never even thought about people thinking about Holy Spirit. Is it true? It's for today or no? I was like, when I heard the Holy Spirit is the power of God, I was like, give me the Holy Spirit.
You're right.
I was like,
I don't care about anything else. Just give me yes.
Exactly. I don't care whatever you are talking about. I'm caring about power here. Like just speak.
That's awesome.
And that's why I see people always love, because I always see God as a consuming fire. Like the image of God in my mind is in Hebrew, when I say like God is like a consuming fire, I always see burning fire. I like when I heard Isaiah saying like I saw God coming down in this horse with fire and darkness. I was like, yes, that's what I like.
I like
but
that. That's
That
cool.
is cool.
Like, what is your image of God? Like, how you connect to God?
I think the way I connect with God is really, I mean, I know you know what I'm going to say.
Outside the sun.
No. Well, yes, that's definitely it. Like, it's definitely freeing for me. Like, God is just a free God and adventurous. But really how I connect with God is love. Like, I think that's my biggest thing and that's how I view life. Like, I think I view life out of love and, like, an opportunity. So it's like I just see it, like, I'm a very big visionary here, but I just see that the world is so vast and that he's like, I've given this to you to explore. I've given this to you to see who I am. And so I really connect with him and like in those different things, like she said, outside, the sun, just I love traveling, like just these different things that
She loves talking to people.
Yes, and
she loves that.
And I love talking with people. She's so right. It's like that's what inspires me, and even for our business, that's my main motive is love. So it's funny because we'll put a budget together, and I'm like, Kinley, okay, so don't just. So we kind of came up with a strategy because if she'd tell me a number to get, I couldn't correlate it to really actions or steps I needed to take. So I told her, I said, okay, so you're going to give me the number we need to get. And now I need you to give me how many people that is and what type of people or like what type of
where do they
service,
fit within? Yeah.
How do they fit within our business? What type of service? And so then I could imagine with God and be like, we're going to touch these people's lives. I'm going to touch 2 of these people's lives this month. I'm going to go after and get them. And then I can imagine it. And then when we, let's say, do our sales pitch to someone and they're interested, then I really start to ask God, okay, how is this going to change their life? And it's out of love, because if I didn't have that, I don't think I could like continue in our business as strong as we are. but I have that, and that's what drives me. I'm like, oh, we're really going to change the world. We're really going to touch people. We're really going to lead them closer to the Lord. And then also just in personal life, that's, I think, my main thing too, is how I connect with God is just love. And also that's kind of what I go back to in my rest is like, who am I? What he's formed me before the foundation of the earth. He's formed me before the foundation of the world, and he's written out my books, and because he loves me so much, and he knit me together so precisely because he loves me. And so obviously there's a purpose that I have to wake up, that I have to complete. And so that's really what I go back to when I need inspiration, or also just my connection with God, and then my outflow to people. So, and in business.
Yeah. I would say the way that I connect to God is originally what came up is like reading the word. And then I'm like, well, why is that like I think we all connect through reading the word. I think that is the primary way of like truly getting to know who God is. But I think for me, I'm like, why is that? Like digging deeper in my heart. But I think that it's this truth aspect side of me that I'm a very big, I want truth, I want justice, I love stewardship, and then those are some of the ways that I really feel like I connect with the Lord. I would say stewardship is a huge aspect, and I think this is really where we can, like, even within business, balance each other out of like, I truly enjoy stewardship, not only of like finances, but stewarding your relationships properly, stewarding your time, many different things. She can
definitely help me out with this.
Many different things, but like in that, I'm like, none of this that I have is actually mine. It's all God's. And so if I can steward all of this, then that's me connecting with him, because it's like it has to be a partnership or else it won't work.
That's good. Yeah. And I love this because I think that exactly everyone sees God in different way. And I mean, think about the angels, they in a relation, they go around and they say that every time they go around, they see a new face of God, they see a new speck in God. That's why they only call it holy, holy, holy. And the same things with us, like each one of us sees a different face of God. Everyone knows about Jesus and everything, but there is something personal on how we connect to God. And it's also funny because I feel like also the way God speak to us, it's different. Like there is things would say to me that would never use that term or that sound of voice to you.
Exactly.
Because like it's not personal then anymore. It's gonna be just like a fake. But like there is a way he speaks to me that connect to me, and I know that is God when he's doing that. Where if that's to you, it's not gonna be
right.
true.
It's so crazy that you say that, because I think this is a topic we've kind of been on, or I've really been telling Kinley in my personal life, but also in business. It's like there's something that just within anything, like if I listen to a podcast or if there's something in business that I connect with or something, I can recognize it, that it's in me, or I need to take action on it, because there's like a fire that stirs up in my heart. I'm like, oh my gosh, like I want to take action on that, or I want to go in that direction. And a lot of the time it's people, or a lot of the time it's like this impact or love. But even within business, like let's say these great entrepreneurs, and you hear someone speak, it's like they're all different, but sometimes there's just that one person that you're like, I like that, and that's what I'm going to do. And I think we've really found that in certain ways, and have been able to have some great mentors and follow that leading of the heart and of the spirit, and be like, okay, this is where we're going to take our business, because every business is different. Every culture in every business is different. So.
Yeah. And just to add to that, I really feel like it's like that's exactly why we need the body of Christ, right? It's like we each see and connect with God in a different way. Yeah. And it's like that's exactly how we are. It's like you can't function without your legs. So it's like we need those people who are going to be the legs, who are going to be the power, who are going to be the love. And not to say that none of us are those things or see those things, but there's something in you, Giuseppe, and there's something in you, Kaelin, that you bring differently. Yeah. And it's just really neat to think about that.
Yeah, that's and then I like that. I like how we're going But I said was something I was thinking. I want you to say again about the ROI of time,
Mm-hmm.
because I think like I mean our podcast we everyone so it's a like unlike marketing, and the idea is like we are not focusing on the normal marketing. We are not trying to speak about SEO. Okay, something will come up. It's fine. We're gonna speak about SEO, social media, but the real idea is like understanding that there is something behind marketing where it's personal. Each one of us on our life and the way we live, whether we do, we actually selling something to people. And I like when you say that time it's connect to there is a ROI. Then I would like to hear that again and to discuss a bit more about that.
Yeah. So really, I was just thinking about this in the sense of a return on investment.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times we're thinking, okay, that can only happen with money, really.
Mm.
But in reality, it's happening every day within all of our lives.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, for me especially, because I can just push through anything. Like, I'm like, oh, I'm just going to push through and just keep working 12 hours, 14-hour days if I have to, like, to get things
Mm-hmm.
done. But really, like, in looking at this whole ROI of, okay, if I'm working on the newsletter, what is an actual return on investment for my time that I'm putting in? I don't think it's not like that return on investment is going to be huge if I'm spending 5 hours sitting down and doing that on one newsletter in one amount of time.
Yeah.
I think that you can actually get a better ROI on your time if you're saying, oh, I'm going to spend an hour and a half doing this, but then I'm actually going to have sister Kaelin. And then that return on investment is going to be much greater than that 5 hours spent on something that's pointless, I guess.
Yeah, I love that. And for the people listening, this is gold. Like, it's really important to understand that because I agree, we measure always return on investment only because mostly when you're self-employed, you're like, oh, it's my time, but it doesn't matter. You know, I'm working to build a business. But the reality is like, let's take emails, like you said. Emails normally the ROI is I think it's $12. Like for $1 spent for making an email, you make $12. That's pretty high. A lot of people they speak about mail marketing because of that, because it's a great ROI. But the problem is like if you know how to use emails and everything, and you spend like 5 hours, 6 hours, it's not anymore 1 to 12 because that 5 hours it corresponds to some type of money that you have wasted as time in your life that you didn't maybe sometimes it's better to go through learning first, investing your money in learning something or like someone else that can teach you how to do it, and then shortening this time where you are making that in 1 hour. And if you have a partner, like in your case, knowing each other's strength, where I'm not trying to make, for example, I make the example on me and my with my wife. I'm not the designer person. I'm not the content creator. I might have some ideas because I've been around the hair a lot, but the reality is like I'm not gonna spend much time trying to create something because I know that for me it would take 2 or 3 times what would take to Sydney if I ask her. Same. I have a web designer person in my company. Like I tell him. We do one meeting with the client, and in pretty much in 8 hours, he has a mock-up of the website. Like if it was me, probably it would take like 3 days for even figuring out what can be the design. You know, like connect all the colors and everything, and that's the great difference of understanding the strength of the other person, and also calculate the ROI, adding in the ROI, not just the money you spend, but actually the time you spend.
Yeah, that's good. And I think another thing with that ROI is like you have to be real with yourself. You have to be true to yourself, because I feel like and a lot of beginning entrepreneurs, they're like, oh, I work so much, I work all day. But what their work really looks like is 30 minutes on the newsletter, 10 minutes checking their phone, 10 minutes going and getting a snack, coming back to the newsletter, doing that 3 times over, and that's 3 hours, and you're like, I worked so much. And so you really have to learn how to push through on some of those things and just be like, no, my phone's over here. I just ate lunch. I am going to sit down. And that's also stewarding your time in the way you know it's going to be most productive, and disciplining yourself to be like, I am going to do this. I'm going to go for my run, but I'm going to do this first, and I'm going to put my 100% into it. I'm going to do it 100% unto the Lord. and not waste my whole day going back and forth, and then looking back at it and being like, oh my gosh, I worked so much.
And just to kind of to go bounce off of that really quick, this verse popped into my head in Ephesians 5. It talks about being wise or walk wise, redeeming the time. And in studying that out, like this week, I've really been like, okay, if we're actually truly walking wise, then we're going to be buying back the time. So our time is actually much more valuable than money, essentially. And so it's like, in that, what is our ROI for our time? Where are we at with that?
God is outside time. Then he doesn't really need. If you depend on him, he can make the same things work much faster and without less time for you spend, because you are trusting him to find the right person maybe, or to the right time. Sometimes we're trying to jump on something, on a new project or new things like too fast, and actually we ended up spending so much time that we are like, we feel like it's a waste. But the reason is multiple time is maybe you don't have the right team around you. You're trying to do everything by yourself, and the biggest one is not the right time. God didn't ask you to do right now. Like he gave you the idea. He put that in your dream. He show you, and it's like, hey, this is my plan. But I didn't say now. I just like showing you like, hey, that's where we are going. Doesn't mean you need to be now. And trusting God that you can keep walking. But while you walk, you keep listening each steps and be like, okay, I made new steps. God, I'm still good. Yes, okay, keep next step and next step and next step. Because a lot of time God doesn't tell you every step. He's not there for every step. This is another, I feel like, lie of personal life, but also business life. In business, a lot of people, when they come with God, they think, hey, God is going to tell you every step in the business. It's going to be like, hey, there is, you now put this money here, and then like write this letter to this person, and this person is going to give you like $500,000 to invest in this thing, and now you're a millionaire. That's not how really God does it.
Yeah.
And this is something that I think people don't know, but God doesn't work like that. God is really about you need to trust me even if I'm not showing you the next step, and you need to keep working, because if you keep working and I'm not saying anything, it means that you're doing fine. You're doing it the right way. I'm not gonna bless you, because also he works with free will. He doesn't want to control our life. He wants to give us choice. You have 3 choices, and as long one of them is not the worst things in your life that can really like kill you, normally he's not gonna really stop you. He's gonna be like, okay, you can still choose between 3. I gave you the time to read the Bible. You have been like 5 years that you have been with me. You know my voice. You know what I want from the Bible. I put the wise people around you. That's important. You need to have wise people. Then I don't really need to tell you what to do. Like, just choose one of the 3, and I'm gonna bless you anyway. You're still blessed. People connect to the like, oh, if I choose this way, I lose my blessing. There's nowhere.
Well, one thing that we've really, and I really like to say this too, though, is we're in seasons. Like, I think this is a cool thing for entrepreneurs too, because we kind of work in seasons rather than the weekend. Oh, here's school year, summer, or vacation time, non-vacation time. Like it's seasons. And so when we're buckling down hard and we're working those really long hours, we also know that there's a season ahead of us to where we're going to be more blessed or not more blessed, but more fortunate than some other people that are still doing that same 9 to 5 and doing that, where we're going to be working maybe 3 hours and going to do what we want to do or whatnot. But there's different seasons. So there's been seasons where we've had to really buckle down and be hardcore and be like, look, I'm not getting a snowboarding pass this year. That was one of my things. This year I didn't get a snowboarding pass, and I was like, I'm not going to do it because I know it's going to distract me. That doesn't mean there's not a season where I'm going to be traveling and going snowboarding in the winter all year, you know? Yeah. But you really just have to choose your hard, because if you want to, it's like, it's hard to have a snowboarding pass, to have a business, to do this and do it all well, you know, and do it all successfully. But if you choose your hard, it might be hard to buckle down for a season, or two, and there's patterns in that, you know, but you can really choose what you like there.
Yeah, that's. I just want to stop because I didn't know you were snowboarding. I was like, wow, she can snowboard. So, no, I found like that's a topic for another day, but it's so expensive here. It's not,
it is.
I was like,
and it's so much time. Like you have to get up early, drive. It's so much time.
It's not even that the problem, but really I don't understand the price in US for snowboarding and skiing. It's like I was like, I literally you can buy a flight to fly to Switzerland and getting a ticket for snowboarding for the same price to just go snowboarding in Colorado. I'm like,
that's why you have to just get the pass, the winter pass. Otherwise, it's not really worth it.
Yeah.
That's cool.
It's crazy.
But just let's go back. It's like I like to take like a tangent, but let's go back to
summer, so I am gonna do some fun things in summer. I told Kinley, what are our priorities? And I'm like, one of them is going on the boat.
Yeah.
We on definitely
Yeah.
I thought that
wake surfing,
and
she has her volleyball tournaments, sand volleyball tournaments planned.
Beach volleyball.
I said, okay, well, you better put them on the calendar.
Well, you know, there's this place in Colorado. No, just kidding. But it's at IVP. It's like this like beach bar kind of thing, and they have like 30 courts on there, and there's tournaments, and so I have a beach partner, and we'll go, and it's a part of kind of my discipline too. I like that. It keeps me going.
That's for other people that wanted to know where you can play beach volleyball in Colorado. Now you know.
IVP.
The only beach in Colorado.
Like marketing for this place.
Yeah.
That's good. Oh, that's fun.
They have sun and they have sand.
Yeah.
That's cool. And okay. One thing that I think it's important because we didn't really went deep in that is what you girls do exactly in your business. Because we have spoke like everything about the business, how you handle each other, how you handle most customers, but how is your relation with God, how God works inside the business, but what is your business, what you do for the community.
So really, we just have fun. No, I'm joking. No, what we really do is we're the Digital Asset Sisters, and we really, the heart of our business is we consult people on how to invest in digital assets, cryptocurrency, but specifically digital assets, and we do alternative investments like private equity and gold and silver as well. But the main thing is consulting people on how to do that, and we have different programs with that, depending on the intensity you want to go or what direction you're going. But really, our hearts behind that is to empower people not only to think about like old money or real estate or these investments that have been around for a while, but really innovative investments. And also our hearts too are just, we're creators. So God is the ultimate creator, and he made us to be creators. And so we don't want to see evil in the forefront of the industry any longer. We want to see Christians stand up and be like, we're not scared of this technology. No, we're actually going to embrace it, and we're going to take it, and we're going to be the creators of it. We're going to create the industry ourselves. And
just like how money isn't evil, technology isn't evil.
Yeah.
Innovation isn't evil.
So we really try to put that out, because a lot of people think that when Apple first came out, they were like, oh, Apple, this is so scary. But now every Christian business uses it. Every Christian person has an iPhone. And so that's the same thing with digital assets. It is the future, and we have a ton of information on it. And we do global economics coupled with deep diving into digital assets. So we really couple those together to give you a big perspective of what's happening in the world. And that's why the utility of these digital assets are going to be so crucial. And that's really where our world is going. And so we show all that background and all the partnerships, and then the how-to. That's really our niche is, and our blue ocean is really the how to do it. So we'll walk with you step by step, hand in hand, and we'll take you through the whole process so that you can invest safely and securely and successfully.
I mean, even to add to that a little bit, a lot of people within cryptocurrency, they're throwing money on their phone. They're like, oh, I'll throw some into Doge, or I'll throw some here. And our hearts are really no, you need to know what you're investing in, why you're investing in it, and then also get you set up securely, not just investing on your phone, not just investing and leaving it on the exchanges. So
because this truly is going to be the greatest wealth transfer we believe we've seen in history, because it's not only a new technology, but it's a new financial technology. So it's two industries that are radically changing. And so that's the cool thing, that there's going to be a bunch of wealth gained off of it. And I think that's where a lot of people's eyes are. And so our eyes are there too. We're like, this is awesome. But where we see the true wealth and our true business going is what you can actually do with that wealth and what you can do with these digital assets. So that's why you need to secure them. That's why you need to do it properly and not just be, let's put some money here and put some money there. Like, that can be fun. And we've done some of that too, just because it's fun, it's just play money. But we're pretty serious on, okay, let's steward these well, and be able to gain that wealth, but also be able to utilize them. Tokenization, DeFi, and whatnot.
Yeah, and actually, like, one probably question that a lot of people would ask, and everything, like, I was the same before meeting you and everything, is when you were speaking about exchanges up, now banks, like, you have a digital bank, any bank pretty much offer you the option, like, with them you can buy Bitcoin, can buy this crypto, we're gonna help you and everything. And my question comes probably to you, why I should come to you and I have my bank doing the same things, and it's the same things, maybe like it's not, but let me understand what is the reality, like what is the difference between you and exchange, between my bank, why I should trust you instead of my bank and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's great. So really, I think you're talking more about a financial advisor, right? Of saying, I have my financial advisor and they can invest in these for me. So they are really into traditional investments. And so a lot of times financial advisors have not dive deep into these cryptocurrencies or these digital assets. And then also, they can't advise you to invest in these cryptocurrencies or digital assets. The only thing they can advise you to invest in is now, just this year, the Bitcoin ETF, which is an exchange traded fund. But the thing with that is that we don't do that at all, the Bitcoin ETF, because it's still like a derivative. It's still not the actual Bitcoin that you're buying. It's just on a big institution that you're saying, like, okay, I have a share in this.
Basically giving you an IOU. Like, I owe you this much Bitcoin. You don't actually own the Bitcoin. And so one of the things with our consulting is saying, hey, we can help you understand that you can actually, without any third-party risk, own these digital assets for yourself.
Own and utilize them because, yes, this is going to be an awesome wealth transfer like I was talking about beforehand, but where the true wealth comes is after, what you're actually going to do with these digital assets. And so we empower you to own them, to take control of your assets, because that's what the blockchain does. And without getting too technical here, the process that we run you through is basically saying, like, okay, you own your own gold and silver, you own your own digital assets. And so they can store them in a safe place, not a third party. So that's really why it's important to go with, because it is such a new market that, yes, we're young and we've gotten that a lot, but it's such a new market, and we've been studying this for 4 years, where even people that have been in the market for over 40 years but don't know anything about digital assets, it's really hard for them to understand what's going on.
Yeah, makes sense. And then, like, probably you can, like, express that, but my idea was exchanges. In the end, you don't own your crypto, you don't own your silver, your gold. They own it, but you just saying, I don't know, like, I own you. Saying,
so with the exchange and the gold and silver, it's like, you can buy gold and silver online and you can hold it digitally. And you can buy gold and silver like that. But a lot of times they'll say, if you get online and buy that,
they'll give you paper.
They give you a paper
note
that says, I own this much. But let's say everyone did a gold or a bank run, and they don't actually have that much gold. They're just selling more than they actually have. And then also with the exchanges, a lot of people buy on an exchange, which we use exchanges too, and that's a medium for us to get the digital assets, but a lot of people buy on the exchanges and then they hold them on there. So if you're doing that, come see us. But with that, if the exchange goes down, you're susceptible to it being lost completely, because you're not actually owning it. You just put your money on it and they basically gave you an IOU, and maybe in 10 years.
And we actually did see that back in like 2012. Mt. Gox was an exchange that actually went down. People had Bitcoin on the exchange, and they're still to this day people that had Bitcoin on the exchange are still trying to get their money back. So so it's a real life experience.
Yes, like everyone, you heard.
Yes.
Think about what are you putting your money there. Like it's doing investment just to have fun with money can be good at the beginning, but the reality is it's good to speak to people that have knowledge, that have spent time to understand that, and they can show you the secure way to do it, and not just believe anyone that is gonna offer you this
a quick return.
quick return or like easy way to do it, because a lot of the good things of exchanges that you just need to create an account, put your money, you buy. There is not so much going through. You are like, oh, now I have this, I have Bitcoin, I have gold, I have silver, but the reality is that there is some more steps to real own it. And it's difficult to learn by yourself, and that's why we have expert people that like you knows how to do it, have spent time learn how to do it, keep searching the market and look what's going on and what is the next move we should make. And I think that's totally important. And I speak as person that I'm the one that actually have I start with exchanges, and when I was saying banks is because actually, for example, I have Revolut, that is a digital bank, and allow you to buy crypto from
my friend is doing that too,
from Revolut directly, because like it looks good. It looks apart that people they don't know, but they normally charge some extra money for the price of the Bitcoin. Even if you think it's free, it's not really free, because the value of Bitcoin might be like, I don't know, I'm throwing a number, 3,000, but they sell for you for 3,200 on the app, and you don't even know because you never search it, and you are paying that 200 more that is actually the fee to them, and it's not even the real value of the... you will notice that a lot of this big crypto, actually, they're a lot cheaper if you buy directly than if you go through exchange. And that's why I totally advise people to go and speak with them. You can find them. Their website is digitalassets.sister.com, but also we're going to add on the description the website, the LinkedIn profile where you can chat with them directly. And then also on the website you can find some free material, I believe so.
We have free material, and then we have three free videos as well on our Crypto Start program. So our Crypto Start program is basically just a program that has a bunch of modules, or 6 modules, just leading you through the basic steps of just getting started. It literally goes through every single step. So if your grandma needs help, just get her on there and tell her, this goes through this step, and this step. And it's broken down like that because that's how we had to learn. We spent so much time researching this stuff that we were like, there's no way anyone's going to do this. There's no way that, the vast majority won't. And so it needs to be broken down. How would we want it if we could go back in time? We would want it broken down in these steps of, okay, now click this button, now click this button. And that's kind of what our clients say. They get on there, and then we also consult them, and they're like, oh, that's easy. I just had to do this, and this. But when I first got on here, I had no clue what it looked like when I was by myself. So, that's really our heart behind it.
That's awesome. And then, do you have something to say? Or?
No,
Then, the other question is, since we are on the marketing side,
yes.
How was your experience with marketing? Like, when you started, did you had marketing right away? Did you add it later? Like,
I think you
This
know
is
the
a-
answer
I
to
mean,
this question.
This is
for
a
the
funny
people who don't know,
story.
I do consulting for them,
Yes.
but like, I want them to
He's
share their
our
experience.
amazing marketing guy.
Yeah.
Because we knew nothing before. But
I
go
mean, I
ahead.
think that we definitely started out thinking, hey, we don't need this whole marketing thing. Like if people want this, they're going to come to us and get it. I don't know why our brains were thinking like that, but
well, I think we also felt guilty. Like
Yeah.
we didn't have a marketing brain of like, and I also think this is something for new business owners. It's like you really have to believe in your product.
Yeah.
So we believed in it for ourselves, but we were like, I don't want someone to like get into risk if they I don't know
want
if our
to.
product is actually really that good. But then like once we started taking some steps out, we were like, this is good.
Yeah.
Like we looked at our own product and we were like, whoa, this is good. And we started believing it in ourselves and getting feedback from our clients, and they were like, oh, this is good. So I think that's the first thing is believing in yourself, because I don't think we had the confidence for marketing. We kind of felt like we were gypping people if we were like, oh, go here, we're going to market here, or here's this flyer. But now that's completely gone,
Yeah.
I think, in both of us.
Yeah.
We're like,
It's
people
definitely
need
looking.
this. How can
yeah.
we market to the best?
Yeah, it's definitely more looking in the eyes of like they need this. This is something very valuable that we want to be able to provide and get into their hands, instead of like, oh no, but we don't want to make them feel like they, just a mindset shift, honestly, I think. But I think it's kind of ironic that we were like, oh, we don't need marketing, and now you're the first person that we have hired, I'm like, and in marketing, it's like that's the first person we're like, okay, we need to start this,
We need someone to
and
help
it's
us
a
with
lot
this.
more than just the external of, oh, we're marketing and putting it out. I don't know the word to say,
Like
but like
building
the external.
yeah.
It's more like the internal, like, okay, is the foundation appropriate? Are the funnels appropriate? All of those other
Is it
things.
running smoothly? So when someone is attracted to it, are they going to have a good user experience? And Giuseppe's helped us with all of those things. He's like, have you looked at this? Have you looked at this?
Yeah.
And I mean, what is our revenue grown since we've gotten?
Oh,
Yeah.
a ton.
Yeah.
A ton. So,
And
and
so
it's like, yeah, and I feel like we haven't even hit like where we're actually going with you. Like
Yeah.
you've done, not to say the bare minimum, but like the level of knowledge that you have compared to what you've given us is so much more. So we're excited to like continue our journey with you, because
Yeah.
we're like, man, he's barely given us a little bit, and
Because we're still in the
taking
foundation of
off.
marketing, truly.
Yep.
But we've also learned a lot with sales and marketing and like she said, the foundation, and it's all really just coming together, because you said this to us at the beginning, but I think we're just like, okay, well, let's get it out, let's do this. But you're like, marketing is like, it's kind of like precept on precept, it's like you have to build brick by brick, and yes, there's some things that you can like quicken the process and everything, but that's what we've really actually enjoyed about marketing is like, oh, we see that we're growing, even though it seems like something, oh, we're just putting another stone here, or we're just building one more, but it's like it really has grown us, and it's created us a lot more stable as a company, but also built our confidence.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
Now that I'm just thinking about it in my head, I think you've 10x'd our business. Within how many months? I mean,
It's been
really,
about
it's been like
5
well,
months. Yeah.
5, but I want to say like within 3.
Yeah.
Honestly, is where we've saw the
different.
from information that you gave us, and then us implementing it. That's made like.
I mean, that's
such
what
a
she was
difference.
saying. One problem with the company, it doesn't matter the size, is that, and a lot of people, they can get really big with just doing things because they have an amazing product. Once you said before, you start to believe in your product, you have an amazing product, you can push, and you might get that $500,000, almost $1 million, but then like there where you start to see where is my foundation, because now, well, until that time, everything was depending on you. Like depending on how much time you work, how much effort you put, and there's no really leverage in anything you do. One thing I remember when we first started, we also revamp like the product that you were giving, where we were thinking like, hey, yes, we have this product, but like this product is taking your this time. Why we don't create a different product that is gonna make you already more money than this one, but also is gonna reduce your process time, like how much time you spend for doing that. And that was the game, like how we can leverage what we have, the knowledge we have, and then we build. And that's why I think it took some times where probably the first 2-3 months was more about like we need to rechange things. We
get some product market fit.
Yeah, I think we also went down. Actually, I think the first 2 months probably the revenue went down.
I think
I don't think so actually. But what are you thinking?
I don't know.
I don't think it did, but I think it probably stayed the same.
Okay.
I think it was in the second month was when we actually saw growth, but I think the first month was kind of
a plateau.
Yeah. But
makes sense. I mean, like that's what one thing.
Because I think we were learning, and we were also like, okay, spending more time on actually working on the business instead of like getting it out there, and that's valid time. That's good ROI time.
Yes, setting up
right.
systems, automation process. That's what is important, because at the end of the day, you as a business owner also, you are not an employee. If you work as an employee in your business, then it's not really business owner yet. You are just you're an employee of yourself. Then to be able to become a business owner, you have to build system process, put in place that are gonna leverage the amount of work you can get or the amount of work you can do, and not working it out.
I just wanted to add really quick, and just thinking about all of this, I'm like, man, if we didn't take that risk, you know, our risk of hiring you, you know, in this marketing spot, it's like, I don't think that we would be where we're at today, you know, but it's like, it's all about what risk are you willing to take? Like, we didn't have the money to necessarily pay you, but we were like, okay, we're going to find the money. You know, a lot of people are like, oh, I don't have the money to do that. Well, how valuable is it to you? What is the risk you're willing to take to see some success? Because you're not going to get to success just by, you know, staying flat.
And it's really that ROI too. It's like, okay, I might be spending money here, but it's going to 10x me over here, where I might just stay complacent over here, but I'm actually, you don't see it, but you're going backwards. So,
that's good. I like that you point out that, because people see marketing and sales like it's going to be a percentage of what I make. And that can be once you get maybe $500,000 or $1 million, you calculate really the percentage. But the reality is like when you're starting, what percentage do you have? Like 10% of zero, it's zero. It's like
10% of zero is still zero.
Exactly. It's gonna change. Then like it's actually an investment. It's like actually this money I'm gonna put this money in a place where I know that's gonna multiply. It's the same things with crypto and everything. It's like you have to invest the money even if you don't see the return in one day or in 1 week.
Right.
And business is the same thing. Business, when you start business, you have to invest. If you're trying to do everything organic from the beginning and not moving any money and just believe that something's gonna change, that it might happen, but it's not going to happen in 1 year. Probably it's going to take like 5 years.
Right,
by
that's
the time
where leverage comes in.
Yes, exactly. By the time you understand how to do that thing, but when you can invest for someone else to do the same thing. And one thing that I think it's also important is like to be aware of, I would say like cheap opportunity, because in marketing there are so many opportunity right there. They're gonna offer, for $20 I'm gonna increase 400%, and I'm bringing 600 people to your website for $200 a month. And the reality is, for you didn't have so much experience that, but for example, one thing I always say in these people, like they're not real people, they are not quality people, and we need to build a brand. I was listening to another podcast actually, and that's where there is bad branding and good branding. People think there is just branding, but actually you can, if you do the wrong things in marketing, you can create bad branding that is gonna destroy your business instead of like build your business. Then you don't want just to test things out. You want to go with people that have experience, they had work with other companies, and
one thing to add to that, just to attest to this, but one thing you really want is someone that encourages you and someone that actually believes in you and wants to help you and your business. They actually believe in your business, because if I don't believe in your business, like I might be able to help you market, or you might be able to help them, but it's like there's really not this extra oomph where we've really seen where Giuseppe, he's helped us because he's like, I believe in you girls. I see your heart. I see where you're going. I want to support that. And he's invested way more time than like we've given him, you know, just money wise. He's invested way more just in time and spirit and heart. And you want someone like that. You don't want someone that's just transactional. So
that's good.
Yeah,
Then what is one things I would say, like to leave everyone, I want to share one thing that you have learned about marketing that you think it's really important that people need to look at.
Let me think about this. There's so much. Honestly, this is like the first thing that pops to my mind, but I think the biggest thing you need to know, or not the biggest thing, but the number one thing that's in my head is that as you go out to market, you really reflect on what you have. Because I think like at first you're like, okay, this is what I have. I'm doing word of mouth. Like people just get what I have. But when you're going out and you're marketing, you really start to be like, is this good enough to withstand what could actually come? So like you kind of have to like put yourself into the future and be like, what if I did get those 1,000 people? What if I did get this or that? And I think you've really helped us with that of like, okay, we're going to go here. We're going to get to this spot. But like, are you guys, is your foundation good? Are your funnels good? And it's really, like she said, the inside of marketing that a lot of people, they just like all the fancy stuff. They're like, what color, what image should I do? But really it's like your systems. If they're spot on and you're like running things like this, then your marketing will be efficient, you know.
And your clients will be happy.
Yeah.
For me, I was going to say that I feel like one of the biggest things within this is, well, I would say something that you've really opened my mindset, I think, to kind of think more limitless, you know, and I think like, that comes from God. That comes from, okay, let me know that I can get and dream way out here, but being able to put it in a practical sense of like, look at, this is what you have. It's really helped me have this limitless mindset of we can hit that number. We can go there. We can get this many people, you know?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah, and 100%, I'm happy, both of you, because I think that's one of the foundation of how I do consulting. I think is one I do is I don't look at your marketing for where are you now, but look at your marketing for if you are 15 times bigger.
Right.
Do you have things in place to reach that? Because you want to be 15 times bigger. You want to make $1 million. You want to make $500,000, but do you have things in place to really be able to take care of that people?
Right.
Of that number of people, because that 50 times bigger equal to a certain number of people. Now you have 10 clients. You are thinking about going to 200 clients. Like, can you even handle 200 clients? Do you have something in place? And then if you don't, if there is not CRM, there is nothing in place for handle these people and to nurture these people, they will leave. You might be able to sell one time, but then they're gone because they don't see quality in that.
And then that's worse because then you're ruining your brand.
Yes, exactly. And that's where bad branding comes. It's just like, it's important to work on the foundation before just jump and start to advertisement, start to get out. It's not just that.
Exactly. Yeah.
It was a great time. We are close to the end, and I want to kind of like leave people with some advice. I would like maybe for you to give some advice to people that maybe want to start a business or they already started a business. Whatever comes to your mind, we want to give some takeaway. People like, hey, this is the first things come to your mind that it's important that you know. And I leave the word.
Okay.
I think for me, I'm just going to say one of the biggest things that we just keep reflecting on is don't quit. I mean, we've had so many opportunities to quit and to give up and be like, this just isn't working, but being willing to fail, but don't quit, then you're gonna see return, that ROI if you don't quit.
That's good. I mean, we have been talking about that a lot because there were a lot of opportunities for us to do that, but we're like, no, let's keep going. And it's toughened us up, but it's also gotten us far. just one thing to talk to fellow visionaries, if we have any listening. But I'm a very big visionary, so I'll dream all day long, and I have 100 ideas. Like, my capacity is just insane for that. When it comes to organization, my capacity is like 0, but I'm learning. So, but if you are that way, it's like a lot of times you see like where you can go. You see where your business can be, but you really have to be real with yourself, and you have to be like, am I taking those steps to get there? And it's a journey, because I've learned a lot within this of like, you're not going to get it every single day. You're not going to be like, oh, I took those 10 steps and it's getting me here, or I know all the steps to take. But you really have to be real with yourself and say like, am I having the discipline to do this? Am I having the rest that I need in this quality time? Or is this a figment of my imagination? Because there are people that dream by night. This is one of my favorite quotes, but I forget who it's by, but it's like, there are people that dream by night, and those are just dreamers. But there are people that dream by day, and those are people that are really going to achieve something. And so it's really putting action to your dream and just being honest with yourself and saying like, okay, was that hour actually disciplined? Was that hour actually a good input? Or was that just me thinking that or is that me treading water? Mm-hmm. So just be real with yourself, be okay to be hard with yourself, and then be easy with yourself and have some fun with it.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. That was perfect way to close. Mm-hmm. Thank you very much for everyone to watch this episode. And again, you will find their contact, their website in the description. And yeah, stay tuned for other new episode. We will have a lot of other amazing people in this channel, and you will love it. You will always find good words for you that will motivate you, will encourage you to pursue your dreams, and also to understand more about God. And
yes,
thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us on here. This was fun, and
it was fun.
Hope
Yes,
everyone got something out of it.